We got a package. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Horticulture Geek. I'm Ray, and today we got our garlic order. So if you follow me, you'll saw a few months ago, I posted that I had ordered my garlic from Fillory Garlic Farm, and it has arrived, and it is time to plant the garlic here for me in Central Arkansas, Zone 7B. We're finally ready to get some garlic into the ground here. I actually could have done this earlier, but I've been busy. So inside the box here, I have 3 varieties that I ordered. Excuse me. I have early red Italian, and I like Fillory because this is how they ship. So you don't want to keep garlic in plastic or sealed containers. It needs to be in nice, breathable paper sacks. They ship really nice, and then each bag is sealed and labeled with what's in it. So I really enjoy them. I think the way that they ship their garlic is really good. So early red Italian, music garlic, which is just a variety name, and then enchilum red. So I've got 3 varieties of garlic, and that's it in the box. We can set that aside. That I'm going to be planting in the garden this year. And I'm so excited about it. We planted garlic last year, and if you haven't seen that video where we harvested our garlic, I'll kind of link it right up in here somewhere, and you can go back and watch that if you want to. It was not as wildly successful as I wanted it to be, but there were some issues there, so we've learned. Now we know better, and I'm actually planting the garlic in a different spot this year, which we will go look at here in just a minute once we get the garlic dealt with. So I've got it. What do? Well, over here, I've already got me some different bags, and I've already got them labeled. So early red Italian. So let me find my early red Italian. Okay, right there it is. So now I can kind of open this bag. Since they staple this together, this is just how I do it. I'm just going to rip this bag open, but then I need somewhere to put the garlic back in once I, get it open. And so here is what I got. So this is 1 clove of the early red Italian, and this is an organic seed garlic. What that means in the world of garlic is if you've never grown garlic before, this is an organic garlic certified to be ready to go for growing, meaning they have not treated this with anything. Typically, not always, some people will argue about this, but typically, like if you go into your grocery store, especially if it's a large commercial big box grocery store, and you try to buy garlic off the shelf in the grocery store, a lot of times that will have been sprayed with a growth inhibitor to prevent it from sprouting while it sits there on the shelf. Lots of produce is commonly sprayed with growth inhibitors for that reason, to extend its shelf life. Well, that's good if you just want to pick it off of a grocery store and come home and eat it. But in this case, I want to grow this. And so if this had been sprayed with a growth inhibitor, obviously inhibiting growth on garlic that I want to grow, not good, right? So that's why a lot of people will tell you to get certified seed garlic or organic garlic so that it's not treated. So I can't just plop this in the ground and expect to get a bumper crop of garlic, right? So we've got to tear this apart. And now while I've got it apart, before I tear it apart, I want to show this to you because this is how it was dug out of the ground. And this is a prime time to get yourself oriented if you've never planted garlic or onions or tulip bulbs or anything like that. They all get planted the same because they all have a root end. So let me get you in on that. You can see that there are roots down there where the plant has grown out, and they have a tip end. And now every clove of garlic in here will have that same orientation. So we just have to kind of dig in here and get this broken apart. and then we can kind of start seeing how many cloves of garlic we're gonna have to plant. So I'm just kind of peeling into that outer husk, but I'm being careful not to gouge into the garlic because I don't want any of my cloves to be damaged, right? Okay, so here's a prime example. So I've kind of got some outer husk peeled off of that, and now I can get in there and look at that beautiful clove of garlic right there. And that is perfect. And this has a papery skin on it. Sometimes new gardeners who don't understand will try to get the papery husk off of their garlic. Don't do that. That's only if you're gonna cook it and eat it, you wanna get all that paper off. But that paper needs to stay on that clove of garlic to plant, because that is how the garlic plant protects itself from mold and rot, okay? So do not take this clove of garlic down any further. It's a single clove. It has its own paper husk on it. We leave the paper husk. And now then you can see it has a root end where it was connected to mama. And it has a little bit of a tip end, and it's real flimsy, but it's a tip end. And that's where our stem's gonna come from. So now that one is ready to go in the ground. So let me just open up my new bag that's labeled, and I can drop him right in there. And then I just have to continue on with the rest of my garlic cloves. So I'm going to shut the camera off here. I'm gonna get through all this garlic, get it separated out, and then when I come back, we'll be outside. I'll show you where we're planting it and what we're gonna do. All right, so here we are in the raised bed over here. And I've got my asparagus over there. I moved him over there. So that won't be performing anytime soon. You really aren't supposed to move asparagus, but I did. Beside the point, different thing. So I'm gonna use this bed for garlic. It won't fill the whole bed, but I think it's gonna be a good spot. And you can see we have our friend here talking to the neighbor dog. All right, so I think we've got some puppies talking to each other at the moment, but hopefully they'll be quiet. So I came in already a day or so ago, and I amended this soil. I got it all broken up, fixed up. I've added raised bed soil to this, and I've added plant tone to this, fertilizer. And I'm gonna be sprinkling biotone in my trenches as I plant my garlic. And then the other thing I've already done is I just got a paint stick, just a free paint stick from the hardware store. And I have done my variety name on that. And I can put that right at the head of that row, and I'll know what that row is. So now the next thing I have to do is super simple, is put the biotone in the hole, and then take my cloves of garlic, and I plant them root side down, pointy side up, and space them out down the hole. So let's go ahead and we will put some of this biotone in here. All right, just a little bit goes a long way with that. And now we can get down here and get these into the ground. So you want to leave a good amount of space so that they have room to bulb up and form new heads of garlic. And that is all of that one. So that is the music. And so now I just have to cover them in. And then once I have all my rows planted, I will come back through and water. So I'm just going to get the rest of these in the ground. All right, so I got it all planted, and now we just wait until the next summer when the garlic will grow in. So we'll plant, like I said, you plant garlic now. If you're a new gardener, you plant it now in the fall. And usually you want to shoot to harvest around the 4th of July. But there it is. There's my 2020 garlic planting. So I wound up with 1 row of the music garlic. Those cloves on that head were big cloves. There was just a few of them. And then I wound up with 2 rows of the early red and 2 rows of the enchilum red. So 5 rows of garlic will be plenty for our family for next year. Even the small garlic harvest we got this summer was plenty. We still have garlic in the house. We use it, but we don't use a ton of it. So 5 rows, if these all like grow big, beautiful heads, like I hope they will, I will be giving garlic away even with just 5 rows. But if you are a family that eats a ton of garlic, you fresh, roast it, whatever you're gonna do to it, you might want to get some more. I got the minimum order from Fillory garlic form that I could get on each variety, and that's gonna be plenty for me. So the last thing for me to do today, guys, is just water this in and let them rest up. And I may actually get some sprouting from this because we still have a few warm days here still before we get our first frost. And even when the first frost comes, I may still get some sprouts pushing up through the ground. And that's perfectly okay. Garlic will do that. It will just push its sprouts up and they'll be fine all winter long. I don't think you really have to do anything with them. If you live up very, very, very cold, you might, but down here in Arkansas, we don't do anything with them. So once they're in the ground, they start to grow, they're done. So it's a plant it and forget it kind of deal, which I enjoy. So I hope you found this video useful. Maybe if you're a new gardener thinking about garlic, it was some new information for you. Maybe you just watched for the fun of it. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, hey, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that and follow along. You never know what we're gonna do. We've got some other videos coming up real soon because I've got a lot of work to do in the fall. I am very behind here in the garden. So I've got to start cranking out some projects. So hit that subscribe button so you can see what we do next time. But until then, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best and happy gardening.